What's going on, guys? Back again with another one, and we really need to break this down right now. Listen to this, as Big Perk and Stephen A. Smith are calling out Rich Paul over some of the comments he made. And once again, he's going after Michael Jordan while pushing even harder to build the GOAT case for LeBron James. And look, we get it, that's his stance and where his loyalty sits with LeBron. But a lot of these arguments feel a little too forced, if I'm being honest. He doesn't even need all that extra framing. He could just let LeBron's resume speak for itself. And this is exactly why the GOAT debate never dies out. Why does it always keep coming back? Why can't we just leave eras where they belong? Because people like him go on podcasts, drop these bold takes, and suddenly it fuels the entire conversation again across social media. And before you know it, it's not just debate anymore, it turns into non-stop chaos on X and everywhere else. So let's slow it down and actually look at what Rich Paul said in response to Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. Smith. He brought up LeBron being compared to Muhammad Ali, which some are saying comes off like a subtle shot at Republican narratives and historical context around figures like Craig Hodges. Then he doubled down again, claiming Scottie Pippen was more valuable than Michael Jordan at one point. And don't forget, he also brought up the idea that Jordan's shoe legacy wasn't originally built by marketing, but because of pop culture moments like Martin Lawrence wearing them, Will Smith rocking them on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and even influence from street culture. But what gets left out of that conversation is that the same community he's referencing also wanted to hoop like Mike before any of that fame even took off. So now we're diving into all of these rebuttals coming from Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. Smith, and trust me, it gets even deeper from here.
Right.
They're just not, right? Scottie Pippen rings, those 6, they're not the same as Michael Jordan's.
Right.
They're not the same as LeBron James.
But they're pretty good.
But they're good. They're good. If there's some sidekick rings, if there's some sidekick rings,
I think Scotty's rings are just the same as Michael Jordan's. Why not?
Because he won the best player on the team.
Yeah, but he was the most impactful player on the team.
I get it.
What do you mean he wasn't?
Listen, I get it.
If you unplug Scottie Pippen off that team,
Sure.
Jordan's 0 for 6.
Sure.
Starters is the starters. When LeBron lost the first championship in Miami, it wasn't the starters, it's the bench. I can't come off the bench. I got old off the bench, right? I got these young legs, and then I got to bring in a bunch of 50-year-olds, right?
Well, you let the people tell it. You know, he's criticized for that. You couldn't beat. You had J.J. Barea guarding you when, if you really watched the film, you had like 5 people guarding you, and J.J. Barea was like the doorknob on the steel door.
Well, that was everyone knows they were figuring it out. LeBron was being overly respectful to D. Wade, and they needed a season to figure it out.
And you played against the Wizards. You remember the trade? Those are the Wizard players who played LeBron how many times?
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
That's true.
So
they had experience again.
Yeah, so you got Deshaun, Karan, and Brendan Haywood over there.
Yeah.
So now everything we was lacking there,
they had.
You had.
Come on, man. This is one of those takes that already sounds off the moment you hear it. So you're telling me the Wizards players are the reason LeBron lost? Because he had already seen them and beaten them multiple times in the playoffs before, and now you're switching it up? Nah, come on. They actually built a solid roster over there with the Dallas Mavericks. But come on, man. That's just excuses being dressed up as analysis. The excuses. J.J. Barea should have been attacked so badly that it didn't even matter who was on help behind him. He should have just caught the ball and pulled the trigger right over the top of him instantly. What are you even talking about, man? He looked hesitant throughout that entire series. Don't try to rewrite history and just flat out twist what actually happened.
You say legacy. How did you, what's the moment that you told that to LeBron?
Well, I mean, we were just having a conversation, and I was just like, look, I think this is probably the best situation. It may not happen overnight, but if you win one time in Cleveland, there's nothing else to be done. Because he already had rings. So it wasn't about, he already had rings. Whether you have 2, 4, 6, 18, whatever, you're a champion. No one can say you're not a champion. But the idea of going back home, winning one, I felt that I always looked at LeBron to be more of what I would say was the people's champ in terms of, you know, like Muhammad Ali was. Yeah, even when he lost, I felt like people really embraced him.
Does it bother you that so many people are happy to see you fail?
Absolutely not. Because at the end of the day, all the people that was rooting on me to fail, at the end of the day, they got to wake up tomorrow and have the same life that they had before they woke up today. They got the same personal problems that they had today. And I'm going to continue to live the way I want to live and continue to do the things that I want to do with me and my family and be happy with that. So, they can get a few days or a few months or whatever the case may be on being happy about not only myself, but the Miami Heat not accomplishing their goal. But, they got to get back to the real world at some point.
Now, I hear what he's trying to say about the Cleveland Cavaliers run and LeBron grabbing that title there, but calling him the people's champ like that across the board just isn't accurate. People were not rocking with him when he made that Miami move. He had his loyal supporters still standing behind him, still riding with him, but that was really the first time the league saw a major wave of backlash toward LeBron. And I know he does speak out on certain issues. People are quick to bring up the China situation. They'll also bring up when he didn't immediately stand with Kyrie after Kyrie posted that film and how he handled that moment. They point to all of that and argue he does, in some ways, operate with a bit of a filter, right? But that's not even close to what Muhammad Ali was doing. You have to judge people within the era they actually lived in. And that's exactly the point here. You've got to compare context to context, because let's be real, people today have way more freedom to speak and express themselves than they did back then, largely because of what those earlier generations sacrificed and went through.
Look, if you unplug Dwayne Wade from the Miami Heat, LeBron doesn't win titles there. If you unplug Kyrie Irving from the Cavaliers, they don't come back from 3-1. If you unplug Anthony Davis from the Bubba Lakers, they don't win a championship.
You can leave them up there, you can put the ISO camera on me. It will never happen as long as I'm breathing and I'm doing First Take. You can scratch that dream, my brother. It's never, ever, ever going to happen. I see it from a mile away. You understand? Remember what I said, Shay, Janae, Big Perk. If you lower Michael Jordan an inch in anybody's mind, you simultaneously must elevate LeBron. Rich Paul will deny it till the cows come home. He's got his podcast and plenty of airspace to do just that. But ultimately, they're going to come back to First Take, and they're going to see a brother named Stephen A. Smith on national television who doesn't take many days off, looking you right in the camera in front of a national and international audience and letting you know there is no way in hell that will ever happen as long as I'm breathing and I'm on this show. You can try it every way. Latest salvo, nice try, Rich.
But come on, but let me go on to Rich Paul for a second. Let me dive into this. This is where he got to stop though. And this is where he starts to hurt LeBron James' GOAT case. You see what I'm saying? And this is where people start saying the controlling of the narrative. Like, bro, you speaking on MJ and you saying these things, and it's like, oh man, here go Rich Paul. Rich Paul got Bron got to hype up the GOAT status
because he's attached to him. And again, what I was saying, everybody got their picks and chooses.
It's actually making it worse.
One thing I can say in Bron defense, Bron don't never speak on nothing. We all know who Bron aspired to be better than and wanted to be was Jordan. He was 23 in respect for him.
Look, I gotta say this right now, man. It feels like every Clutch podcast is pushing a new agenda trying to reshape the story around LeBron's career. Hold up, why can't his legendary run just be accepted for what it already is? You're never going to convince the entire world that he's greater than Michael Jordan, and you're not going to flip everyone's opinion that Jordan is above Kareem either. At the end of the day, people will always have their own rankings and reasons for calling someone the greatest. Only a select few even belong in those conversations anyway, and if you made it there, that alone should speak volumes about your legacy. You did everything you were supposed to do in your career because the world already chose its favorites. But the moment you start forcing a narrative, things get twisted and people interpret it differently than what actually happened. And then you turn around and say, no, that's not what you saw. Come on, man. Like Rich Paul saying just watch the film and suddenly everyone else is wrong. So now we're acting like fans don't understand what they're watching. It doesn't make sense to act like only insiders understand basketball. Most fans have just as much experience watching the game as anyone speaking on it. Just because you're close to LeBron or talk to NBA players doesn't make your basketball opinion superior to everyone else's. There are plenty of people around players every day. That doesn't automatically elevate their analysis. And yet, people are being told they don't understand what they clearly saw with their own eyes. Even Kendrick Perkins says LeBron is the GOAT, but even he can't fully stand behind these narrative-driven takes. Let it be what it is, man. Just let it be what it is. That's all I've got to say. But now, I want to hear from you guys. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.